Good morning, students. This is 12th standard botany video class, video 4. In this video, we are going to continue the lesson Principles of Ecology. Dear students, in the previous video class, we have seen what is pedology, that means study of soil. What are the different types of adaptive factor, that means physical, chemical. Composition of soil is known as adaptive factor. What is soil? How the soil is formed on the earth. Different types of soil, that is residual and transported soil. Then different adaptive factors of soil, that is moisture, soil water, soil reaction, soil nutrient, soil temperature, soil atmosphere and soil organism. And then we have seen different types of horizon which is present in the soil is known as soil profile. And then we have seen different types of soil particle, that is clayey, silt, loamy and sandy soil. Out of this, loamy soil is ideal for plant cultivation. Then different vegetation and distribution of the soil, and also what all the plants which is cultivated in those soils are named. Up to this only we have seen in the previous video class. Now we are going to see topographic factor and their characteristic feature in this video. Dear students, before going to see the topographic factor, we are going to see the important one mark question. The total soil water content is known as hollow. The water available to the plants is known as chershad. Water not available to plant is known as accord. So these are all the important one mark question. Total soil water, hollow. Water available to plants, chershad. Then water not available to plant is known as accord. Dear students, this is very important one mark question. Now we are going to start the new subtopic, that is topographic factor. Dear students, topographic factors. What is topography? That means surface feature of the earth. That means outer surface feature of the earth is known as topography. This topography, which influences on the climatic condition of any area, is determined by the interaction of solar radiation, temperature, humidity, rainfall, latitude and altitude. So these are all the different surface feature of the earth. We are going to study about those surface feature is known as topography. So these different climatic surface feature is also responsible for the growth of a plant, such as radiation, that is solar radiation, temperature, humidity, rainfall, latitude and altitude. Dear students, these surface feature which affects the vegetation through climatic variation in small areas. That means a small area means it is known as microclimatic condition. And even they cause changes in the soil condition. The different topographic factors are latitude, altitude, direction of mountain, steepness of mountain. So these are all the different topographic factors we are going to see in the next paragraph. Dear students, see the one of the topographic factor, that is latitudes and altitudes. Dear students, What is latitude and altitude? We are all studied in the lower classes. Latitude means the distance from the equator. So the entire globe is divided into two poles, north poles and south poles. They are separated by a median line is known as equator. The distance from the equator is known as latitude. The temperature at the equator is maximum, and then it grows towards the poles, it is decreases. So maximum temperature is equator region. When grow towards the north pole or south pole, the temperature is gradually decreases. So different types of vegetation occur from equator to the poles are given in the diagram. Dear students, see the diagram. This is the latitudinal and altitudinal vegetation. So different region is given here, and also the diagram is drawn from the equator region towards the north pole and the south pole. Dear students, the diagram which are showing the two vegetation, the horizontal one is said to be the latitudinal zonation. That means the distance from the equator. Then in the vertical line is known as altitudinal vegetation or vertical zonation. So it starts from equator towards the poles, north pole and south pole. So in both the region, at the end it's covered with ice and snow. Here also ice cap. So there is no plant region in that poles towards the polar region, that is north pole and south pole. Between different plants are cultivated in different zone. Here, so first one, broadleaf evergreen forest, tropical grassland, desert region, desert scrub, temperate grassland, chaparral, deciduous forest, mixed forest, coniferous forest, tundra forest and ice cap. That is the region where from the equator to the poles. We are coming to the altitudinal. Here it is divided into tropical rainforest, temperature deciduous forest, needle leaf forest, tundra region, and finally it's ended with ice and snow. So this is all the different plant vegetation which is present from equator to the different poles, that is north pole and south pole. Dear students, in the previous paragraph we have seen the distance from the equator to the polar region is known as latitude. The next we are going to see the altitude, that is the height above the sea level forms the altitude. So the distance, that means height above the sea level is known as altitude. The high altitude, the velocity of the wind remains high, temperature and air pressure decrease, while the humidity and the intensity of light increases. So these are all the different factors which is present in the altitudinal vegetation. High altitude, the velocity of the wind remains high above the sea level. Temperature and air pressures are decreases, but humidity and intensity of light increases. So due to these factors, The vegetation at different altitude varies, showing the distinct zonation which is present in the diagrammatic representation we have seen in the previous paragraph. So this is the two factor which affects the growth of a plant. It's said to be topographic factor, latitude and altitude. Dear students, the another factor is direction of mountain. The south and the north faces of north and the south faces of the mountain or hill region contains different flora, that means plants, and fauna, animals, because the north and the south hill region or mountain region differ in their humidity, rainfall, light intensity, light duration, and temperature region. So, this direction of mountains is also showing the variation in the plant characteristic feature. Dear students, see the important 2-mark question, ecotone. So this is the transition zone between two ecosystems. So what is ecosystem? Study of particular environment. In that environment, how living organism interrelated to the non-living thing is known as ecosystem. So the transition zone between the two ecosystems is known as ecotone. Example, the border line between the forest and the grassland is known as ecotone. This is important 2-mark question. What is the answer for that one? A transition zone or a partition zone between the two ecosystems is known as ecotone. Example, a borderline between the forest ecosystem and grassland ecosystem. Next one, another important 2-mark question, edge effect. Some of the species which is present in the ecotone areas, that means a borderline between two ecosystems. So these species are found in that particular area due to the effect of two different environmental habitats. This is called a edge effect. Example, owl in the ecotone area between forest and grassland. So dear students, some of the species which is found in the ecotone area are due to the effect of environment of two different habitats. Forest is one of the habitat, grassland is the another habitat, isn't it? So some species is also found in the two regions. That effect is known as edge effect. Example, owl in the ecotone area between forest and grassland. So dear students, this is a very very important 2-mark question, ecotone and edge effect. Dear students, the direction of mountain, we have seen that north and south faces of mountain which contains different fauna and flora, because they are also showing the difference in their humidity, rainfall, light intensity, light duration and temperature regions. So these two faces of mountain, what are the two faces? North face and south faces of the mountain or hill region, which receives different amount of solar radiation, wind action and rain. So the solar radiation, that means sunlight energy, wind action and rainfall duration is also differ in this two phases of mountain. In these two phases, the windward region possesses good vegetation. So out of these two mountain phases, phases which are possessing windward region, the wind blows, good vegetation due to heavy rains, and the leeward region possesses poor vegetation due to rain shadows. So, the two phases of mountains are divided into two regions, windward region and the leeward region. Windward region means they are getting large amount of wind. Due to the wind blows, they are getting the heavy rainfall. Another one, leeward region, there is no wind part action. There is no wind action. It possesses the poor vegetation, so that they'll get the low rainfall. That means rain shadows or rain deficit. So similarly, in the soil of aquatic bodies like ponds, the center and the edge possess different depth of the water due to soil slope and different wave action in the water body. So another example of the mountain is also given here, direction of mountain. In some of the soil of mountain region, nearby lake or a pond is there. The soil of the aquatic bodies like pond, the center region, the edge possess, that means margin as well as the center region possess different depth of the water due to soil slope and different wave action in the water body. Therefore, different parts of the same area may possess different species of organism. So that means in the particular area, they are having the different parts. So each parts which are possessing or consist of different species of organism. So what is the main theme? There is no common species of organism which is present in the particular region, because the environmental condition, that means topographic condition, is different. Based upon the topographic factor, the living organism is also different in that particular area. That is said to be direction of mountain. Next one, steepness of the mountain. Steepness அப்படினா சரிவு அப்படின்னு சொல்றோமா? Our hill allows the rain to run off. With help of the steepness only, we can able to get the rainwater from the top of the hill region to the bottom. So due to this steepness of the mountain, water is loss of water causes water deficit, and also due to heavy rainfall, quick erosion, soil erosion erosion of the top soil resulting in poor vegetation. So due to the running water from the top of the mountain to the bottom, they are eroded the topsoil. So the region which are showing the poor vegetation. On the other hand, the plains and valley, பள்ளத்தாக்கு பகுதி, சமதள பகுதி, plains means சமதள பகுதி, valley means the region between the two mountain or a hill is known as valley. Here they are getting the sufficient water in the soil, so they are showing the rich in vegetation due to slow drain of water surface and better retention of water in the soil. That means water which are stored below the ground level. So in that region, they are showing the rich vegetation. So the top of the hill region which are showing poor vegetation due to the running of the rainwater from top to the bottom. When compared to the plains and the valleys, they are contain sufficient amount of water due to slow running of water. They are showing the rich vegetation and also the water which is retention in the soil. So that is said to be the steepness of the mountain. Dear students, see the diagram. Steepness of mountain. So on the top of the hill region, due to black clouds, rain is falling on the hill region. The one side, the water is running from the top to the down region. So one side, they are retaining the water below the soil. So they are showing the rich vegetation. Another side, the water is unable to retention in the soil. So they are showing the poor vegetation. That is said to be the steepness of mountain. So how we are getting the rain in the hill region? The sea water which is evaporated due to sunlight. The moist wind is occur in that region and makes the clouds to condense, and it falls in the form of rain on the top of the mountain region. The water runs from top to the bottom. The plains and the valley regions, they are retention the water in the soil, showing the rich vegetation. But other side, there is no retention of water in the soil due to steepness. The right side, it will look like a slopy region. But in the left side, it's look like ups and downs, isn't it? So that's why it is unable to get the water retention in the soil. So that side showing the poor vegetation. That is said to be the steepness of the mountain. Dear students, these are all the different topographic factors: latitude, altitude, direction of the mountain, and the steepness of the mountain. Dear students, next we are going to see the biotic factor. Dear students, the interaction is taken place between living organisms such as plants and animals is called a biotic factor. So this relationship between the plants and animals is also cause some marked effect upon the vegetation. That factors are known as biotic factor. Dear students, you already know that one. Plants are the producers, animals are consumers. We are the consumers. We are depending upon the plants either directly or indirectly for its food. But both of them, they are interacted in the particular environment. This interaction is also cause certain effect on the vegetation. So these effects may be directly or indirect and modifies the environment. That means it shows some changes on the environment. Dear students, most probably plants are living together as a community and also influence one another. At the same time, animals are association with the plants and affect the plant life in one or several ways. So this different interaction between the plants and the animals are classified into different types based upon the positive or negative interactions. The entire biotic factor is divided into two. One is the positive interaction, another one is the negative interaction. So positive interaction means both of them are getting advantages. That is said to be positive interaction. Negative interaction means one of the organism is affected by another one. That is said to be negative interaction. Dear students, first we are going to see positive interaction. I told you in a simplest manner, both the organisms are beneficial. For example, the interaction is taken place between plants and animals. Both the living organisms are beneficial. That is said to be positive interaction. It is divided into two types. One is the mutualism, another one is the commensalism. Dear students, explain the different types of positive interaction is very important 5-mark question, and also write a short notes on mutualism is the 3-mark. Likewise, write a short notes on commensalism is another important 3-mark question. First, we are going to see mutualism. That means the interaction is taken place between two different organisms, but both the organisms are benefited. That is said to be mutualism. That means better understanding between the two organisms. நான் ஒரு பொருளை கொடுத்தனா நீ எனக்கு ஒரு பொருளை கொடு. So likewise, they are mutually interacted between two different species. It's known as mutualism. The different examples of mutualism are: first one, nitrogen fixation. Dear students, in the 11th standard itself, you have studied the separate lesson for nitrogen fixation. Some of the bacteria which are fixing the atmospheric nitrogen into the soil. These bacteria which are living in the root of higher plants, and they are taking food material from the root of higher plants. At the same time, they are fixing the atmospheric nitrogen into the soil. The dissolved nitrogen is taken by the root of your plants for the formation of chlorophyll pigment and also growth development, so that both the organisms are mutually interacted and both the organisms are beneficial. The root of higher plants giving living place as well as the food material to the bacteria. The bacteria which is fixing the atmospheric nitrogen and give it to the root of your higher plants. That interaction is said to be mutualism. Example, nitrogen fixation. Dear students, the one of the bacterium is known as rhizobium, nitrogen fixing bacteria, which is present in the root nodules of Leguminaceae family members plant. Both of them which are living together symbiotically. That means symbiotic association. Both the organisms are beneficial. The rhizobium obtains food from the leguminous plants. I told you now. In turn, it fixes the atmospheric nitrogen into nitrate, making the host plants to get the nitrogen from the soil. Dear students, the leguminous plants is the higher plants. They are unable to absorb the nitrogen from the atmosphere. You already know that one. 76% of nitrogen is present in the atmosphere. Plants are unable to absorb nitrogen from the atmosphere, so that the bacteria which is living in the root of leguminous plants is fixing the nitrogen into the nitrate form into the soil. So dissolved form of nitrogen into nitrate is absorbed by the host plant. That is said to be a symbiotic relationship between leguminous plants and the rhizobium bacteria. That example is known as nitrogen fixation of mutualism. Dear students, see the diagram. First diagram is the root of leguminous plants. Then yellow color button-shaped structure is known as root nodules. If you are taking the cross section of your root nodules, you are showing the outer epidermis and the root hair. In the root hair region, they are having the bacteria is known as rhizobium. is one of the example of mutualism, that is nitrogen fixation or fixing bacteria. Some other example also given here. A water fern is known as azolla. It is a smallest angiospermic plant and also aquatic plant, water living plant. It is a fern. You already studied in last year terophytic topic, which are fixing the atmospheric nitrogen. Another one, a nitrogen fixing cyanobacterium is known as anabina. These two are the nitrogen fixing organism. Another one, a blue-green algae or a blue-green bacterium or cyanobacterium is known as anabina, which is present in the special type of root in cycas is known as coralloid root. The cycas is a gymnosperm plant. Last year you have studied life cycle of cycas. Next one, another cyanobacterium, blue-green algae known as nasdaq, found in the plant body of the Anthoceras. It's a bryophytic plant. The life cycle of Anthoceras also you already studied in 11th standard. Studied in the 11th standard bryophytic topic lesson. Next one, a small insect is known as wasp, present in the fruit of a fig tree. Then another mutual understanding association, a relationship between algal partner and fungal partner is known as, what is that one? Lichen. Also studied in 11th standard. Then another one, a symbiotic association, root of higher plants and the fungal partner is known as mycorrhiza. So this is all the other example of nitrogen fixation, example of mutualism. Dear students, that's why I told you, write a short notes on mutualism. It will come for 3 mark as well as 5 mark question. So this mutualism is one of the positive interaction. That means both the organisms are beneficial. That is said to be positive interaction. Dear students, up to this we have seen what is mutualism. An example of mutualism is nitrogen fixation, rhizobium bacteria and leguminous plants, water fan azolla and anabina, nitrogen fixing cyanobacterium. Azolla is a fern. Anabina, which is present in the coralloid root of cycas, that is gymnosperm plant. The cyanobacterium nasdaq, found in the thyroid of Anthoceras. It is a bryophytic plant. A small insect known as wasp, present in the fruit of a fig tree or a fig fruit. The association between the algal and fungal partner is known as lichen. The association between root of land plants or terrestrial plants and the fungal partner is known as mycorrhiza. So these are all the different positive interactions of mutualism. Dear students, up to this I conclude my video. Remaining, that is commensalism and epiphytic plants, we will see in the next video class. God bless you. All the best, children.